If I handed you $10,000 today, your life would probably look very different by tomorrow. You'd pay off debt, invest, finally take that trip you've been putting off, or simply breathe a little easier knowing you have money in the bank. But here's the strange part. For almost everyone watching this, getting from $0 to $10,000 feels nearly impossible, while getting from $10,000 to $100,000 is often much easier. That sounds backwards, doesn't it? Most people think building wealth gets harder as the numbers get bigger. More money means more responsibility, more risk, more pressure. But in reality, the opposite is often true. The first $10,000 is the hardest money you'll ever build, not because it's the biggest amount you'll ever have, but because it's the amount that forces you to become a completely different person. Imagine you're standing at the bottom of a massive mountain. At the top sits a treasure chest with $10,000 inside. Every single day you take one small step upward. Some days you climb 5 meters. Other days you slip backward because life gets in the way. It rains, you're tired. Bills show up. Friends invite you out. Your car suddenly needs repairs. The mountain doesn't care. It just keeps asking the same question over and over again. Are you willing to keep climbing? Most people answer that question without even realizing it, not with words. With their daily decisions, let's meet two people. Rick and Brad. Both are 25 years old. Both earn almost the same salary. Both have the same 24 hours every day. Neither one wins the lottery. Neither one receives an inheritance. From the outside, their lives look almost identical. But 5 years later, one quietly reaches his first $10,000. The other is still wondering why every paycheck disappears before the month is over. What happened? It wasn't intelligence. It wasn't luck. It wasn't a secret investment that doubled overnight. It was something much smaller, something almost invisible. The decisions neither of them thought would matter. Friday afternoon arrives. Their paycheck lands in their bank account. Rick smiles for a second. But before he does anything else, he moves a small portion into savings. He treats that transfer like paying a bill. Not because it's exciting, but because he knows his future deserves to get paid too. Brad looks at the exact same paycheck. He tells himself something millions of people say every single month. I'll start saving next month. After all, this month is different. There's a birthday coming up. His phone is getting old. His friends want to grab dinner. There's a sale ending tonight. He'll save when life calms down. The problem is, life almost never calms down. Because there's always another reason, another discount, another emergency, another weekend, another subscription, another excuse. A few days later, Rick walks past a coffee shop. He could buy a fancy drink. Instead, he keeps walking. Not because coffee is evil, because he has something bigger in mind. That single decision doesn't make him rich, but it strengthens something much more valuable, his identity. Across town, Brad opens his phone while waiting for the bus. One notification appears. Limited time offer. Ends tonight. He wasn't planning on buying anything. 5 minutes later, he's checking out. Neither decision changes their lives that day. That's what makes this so dangerous. The biggest financial mistakes almost never feel big. They're small, comfortable, easy to justify. And that's exactly why they repeat themselves hundreds of times. Now imagine this happening every single week. Not once, not twice, but for years. Tiny decisions, quietly building two completely different futures. People love talking about making 6 figures, buying rental properties, building million-dollar portfolios, but almost nobody talks about the invisible battle that happens long before any of that. Because before you can build wealth, you have to build the person capable of keeping it. And that's where almost everyone quits. Not because they can't save, because they don't see results fast enough. Think about planting an apple seed. You don't come back a week later expecting apples. You water it, protect it, wait, month after month, year after year. At first, it looks like nothing is happening. But underneath the surface, the roots are growing. Money works exactly the same way. The first $10,000 isn't just money. It's roots, and most people stop watering the tree long before it ever has the chance to grow. The truth is, your bank account isn't just measuring your money, it's measuring your habits. And habits don't change overnight. They change one decision at a time, one saved dollar. One purchase you didn't make, one investment instead of one impulse. One ordinary day repeated again and again and again. Because the people who eventually build wealth usually don't have extraordinary days. They simply become extraordinary at repeating the ordinary, and that's the part almost nobody sees. Angelo pauses for a moment. He looks toward Rick, then toward Brad. He smiles. Now here's where things become interesting, because most people think the hardest part of building wealth is saving the first $10,000. It isn't. The hardest part is becoming the kind of person capable of holding on to it. Money has a strange habit. It doesn't stay where it's welcomed. It stays where it's managed. Give someone financial discipline and they'll eventually build wealth. Give someone wealth without discipline and eventually they'll build nothing. That's why lottery winners so often end up broke. That's why professional athletes earning millions sometimes retire with nothing. And that's why someone earning an ordinary salary can quietly become a millionaire. It was never about the paycheck. It was always about the person holding it. Angelo slowly begins walking through the orchard. Rick follows behind him. Brad walks several meters away in the opposite direction. Let's imagine something. Tomorrow morning, I deposit $100,000 into Rick's bank account, and I deposit the exact same amount into Brad's. Who becomes wealthier? Most people would answer, they both do, but Angelo smiles. Wrong. They both receive the same money, but they don't receive the same future. Rick doesn't suddenly become wealthy because of the money. The money simply accelerates habits he already built. He still budgets. He still invests. He still avoids unnecessary debt. He still thinks 10 years ahead instead of 10 minutes ahead. Now every dollar simply has a stronger foundation to stand on. Brad looks completely different. For a few days, nothing changes. He feels richer. He smiles more. He upgrades his phone, moves into a bigger apartment, buys things he's wanted for years, and none of those purchases feel irresponsible. That's what makes this dangerous. Every single purchase seems reasonable. It's only one vacation. It's only a nicer car. It's only a better apartment. It's only this once. But Angelo quietly shakes his head. Money doesn't erase habits. It amplifies them. If your habits leak $1, they'll eventually leak 1 million. Rick understands something Brad doesn't. Every dollar has a job. Some dollars buy freedom. Some dollars buy stress. Some dollars disappear forever. Some dollars come back with friends. Rick doesn't ask, "What can I buy?" He asks, "What can this dollar become?" Because he knows money can do one of two things. It can work, or it can leave. Brad asks the opposite question. How quickly can I enjoy this? Rick asks, how long can this work for me? Those two questions quietly create two completely different lives. And here's something almost nobody realizes. Compound interest doesn't just apply to money. It applies to behavior. Confidence compounds. Knowledge compounds. Discipline compounds. Experience compounds. Relationships compound. Even your reputation compounds. The person who reads 10 pages every day eventually finishes hundreds of books. The person who exercises 3 times a week eventually builds a healthier body. The person who invests every month eventually owns assets that begin producing income without asking permission. It all compounds, not because any single day was extraordinary, because none of the ordinary days were skipped. Angelo stops walking. He bends down beside another apple. He picks it up, turns it slowly in his hands. This apple didn't appear today. It simply became visible today. That's exactly how wealth works. People see the harvest. They never see the seasons. They admire the fruit. They ignore the roots. They celebrate the result. They overlook the repetition. And that's why building wealth feels so mysterious. Because the most important work usually happens when nobody is watching. And that's why your first $10,000 is the hardest. Not because $10,000 is some magical number, but because the person who builds the first $10,000 is no longer the same person who started. They've learned patience. They've built discipline. They've stopped chasing shortcuts. And they've proven to themselves that consistency works. Once you've built those habits, the next $10,000 becomes easier. Then the next, and the next, because your money is finally working alongside the person you've become. If you found value in this video, subscribe to Build Wealth with Angelo for more videos that simplify investing, wealth building, and personal finance. Share this video with a friend who could find something useful from it, and smash the like button for more financial videos coming soon. Remember, your first $10,000 isn't built by one big decision. It's built by thousands of small decisions that nobody else sees. Until the next video, peace.